Wealth is not something you chase through desperation or chance. It is something you attract through growth, value, and discipline. The truth is, chasing money often makes it run faster. The more you run after it, the more it seems to slip away. But when you shift your focus from chasing to becoming, everything changes. The wealthy understand that the key to attracting success lies in personal transformation. You don't pursue wealth directly, you become the kind of person who naturally attracts it. Think of wealth like a shadow. If you run after your shadow, you'll never catch it. But when you move toward the light of growth, the shadow of wealth follows you everywhere. The wealthy don't waste their energy complaining about the economy, luck, or other people's success. Instead, they invest that energy into learning new skills, creating value, and improving themselves daily. Because they know the marketplace is not about fairness, it's about value. You are paid for the value you bring, not the time you spend. The more valuable you become, the more the market will reward you. To attract wealth, you must first increase your personal value. That means improving your attitude, your knowledge, your discipline, and your mindset. If you want more, you have to become more. Jim Rohn often said, "Success is something you attract by the person you become." That is not just a nice quote, it's a law of life. You can't attract abundance with a scarcity mindset. You can't attract opportunity while complaining about your circumstances. You must first become the kind of person who thinks in possibilities, not problems. When you work harder on yourself than on your job, everything starts to shift. Your ideas improve, your confidence grows, and your ability to serve others increases. Wealth flows to people who solve problems and create solutions. It doesn't flow to wishful thinkers or complainers. So ask yourself, what value am I bringing to the world? What problems am I solving? What skills am I developing that make me indispensable? The answers to these questions determine the level of wealth you will attract. Attraction also requires patience. You can't plant seeds today and expect a harvest tomorrow. Wealth grows in the soil of consistent effort. The wealthy understand the power of compounding, not just in money, but in habits, knowledge, and relationships. They plant, water, and nurture their efforts day after day until abundance naturally grows from them. The poor chase quick results. The wise, the marketplace, is a powerful teacher. It rewards those who bring value, not those who simply show up. You can't get paid for time alone. You get paid for the results you produce during that time. Many people work long hours year after year and wonder why they never seem to get ahead. The truth is, the marketplace doesn't care how long you've been there. It only measures how much value you've added while you were there. You see, wealthy people have figured out a secret that most never learn. They focus on becoming more valuable, not just more busy. It's not about working harder, it's about working smarter. Some people earn a little for 8 hours of work, and others earn a fortune for the same 8 hours. The difference is not luck or connections, it's the difference in value. The person who earns more has learned more, developed rare skills, and created greater impact. That's the kind of person the marketplace rewards. Think about it. A doctor doesn't get paid for the time they spend in the room. They get paid for years of study and the value of their expertise. A business owner doesn't get rich from working endless hours. They get rich because they learned how to serve customers better, solve problems efficiently, and build systems that multiply their effort. Value is the invisible currency that drives the visible rewards. If you want to increase your income, you must first increase your value. Ask yourself daily, how can I make myself more valuable to the marketplace? Maybe it means learning a new skill, improving your communication, understanding people better, or managing your time more effectively. Every new skill you learn adds another layer of value to who you are. When you grow, your value grows. And when your value grows, your income follows. The marketplace is always fair, even when it feels unfair. It gives more to those who bring more. It may not happen instantly, but it always happens eventually. The secret is to stop asking for more money and start asking, how can I become more valuable? Most people want a raise before they raise their value. The wealthy understand it works the other way around. You don't get paid for wanting more, you get paid for becoming more. That's why wealthy people spend so much time learning, reading, and investing in themselves. They know that every book, every mentor, every idea adds something to their ability to create value. They don't see learning as an expense, they see it as an investment that compounds over time. They realize that success is not something you pursue, it's something you attract by the person you become. The marketplace will always reflect your personal growth. If you want your circumstances to improve, you must improve. If you want your income to increase, your skill set must expand. The outside world is simply a mirror of the inside world. That's why self-development is the best investment you'll ever make. So instead of measuring your progress by hours worked, start measuring it by the value you've delivered. Did you grow today? Did you improve your craft? Did you make someone's life easier, better, or happier? If you did, you've already increased your worth in the marketplace. The truth is, wealth doesn't come from effort alone. It comes from effectiveness. You could be busy all day and still not move forward if your effort isn't valuable. That's why wealthy people don't chase activity, they chase productivity. They don't measure success by how tired they are at the end of the day, but by how much value they've created. Remember this timeless principle: the marketplace doesn't pay for time, it pays for value. Time is equal for everyone, but value is not. Your job is to spend your time becoming the kind of person whose value can't be ignored. When you do that, wealth will no longer be something you chase. It will be something you attract naturally. Build lasting ones. Another key principle of attraction is energy. People who attract wealth carry a different kind of energy, positive, disciplined, and focused. They don't walk into rooms waiting for opportunity to find them. They bring opportunity through their presence. Their words carry conviction. Their actions show consistency, and their mindset reflects purpose. People want to work with them, invest in them, and learn from them. That's how wealth begins to flow, not by force, but by magnetic influence. To attract wealth, you must also learn the art of gratitude. Gratitude keeps your heart open to receive more. When you appreciate what you have, you multiply it. When you complain about what you lack, you repel abundance. Wealthy people practice gratitude daily because it aligns their mindset with abundance rather than scarcity. Gratitude turns ordinary days into opportunities and small blessings into great wealth. So stop chasing money and start chasing mastery. Stop running after opportunities and start preparing for them. Build your character, sharpen your skills, and refine your vision. When you do, wealth will start finding its way to you through the right people, ideas, and circumstances. Remember, wealth is not a destination, it's a result of who you become. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. So focus on becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts success. When you do that, wealth stops being a chase and becomes a companion that follows you wherever you go. The marketplace is a powerful teacher. It rewards those who bring value, not those who simply show up. You can't get paid for time alone. You get paid for the results you produce during that time. Many people work long hours, year after year, and wonder why they never seem to get ahead. The truth is, the marketplace doesn't care how long you've been there. It only measures how much value you've added while you were there. You see, wealthy people have figured out a secret that most never learn. They focus on becoming more valuable, not just more busy. It's not about working harder, it's about working smarter. Some people earn a little for 8 hours of work, and others earn a fortune for the same 8 hours. The difference is not luck or connections, it's the difference in value. The person who earns more has learned more, developed rare skills, and created greater impact. That's the kind of person the marketplace rewards. Think about it. A doctor doesn't get paid for the time they spend in the room. They get paid for years of study and the value of their expertise. A business owner doesn't get rich from working endless hours. They get rich because they learned how to serve customers better, solve problems efficiently, and build systems that multiply their effort. Value is the invisible currency that drives the visible rewards. If you want to increase your income, you must first increase your value. Ask yourself daily, how can I make myself more valuable to the marketplace? Maybe it means learning a new skill, improving your communication, understanding people better, or managing your time more effectively. Every new skill you learn adds another layer of value to who you are. When you grow, your value grows, and when your value grows, your income follows. The marketplace is always fair, even when it feels unfair. It gives more to those who bring more. It may not happen instantly, but it always happens eventually. The secret is to stop asking for more money and start asking, how can I become more valuable? Most people want to raise before they raise their value. The wealthy understand it works the other way around. You don't get paid for wanting more, you get paid for becoming more. That's why wealthy people spend so much time learning, reading, and investing in themselves. They know that every book, every mentor, every idea adds something to their ability to create value. They don't see learning as an expense. They see it as an investment that compounds over time. They realize that success is not something you pursue. It's something you attract by the person you become. The marketplace will always reflect your personal growth. If you want your circumstances to improve, you must improve. If you want your income to increase, your skill set must expand. The outside world is simply a mirror of the inside world. That's why self-development is the best investment you'll ever make. So instead of measuring your progress by hours worked, start measuring it by the value you've delivered. Did you grow today? Did you improve your craft? Did you make someone's life easier, better, or happier? If you did, you've already increased your worth in the marketplace. The truth is, wealth doesn't come from effort alone. It comes from effectiveness. You could be busy all day and still not move forward if your effort isn't valuable. That's why wealthy people don't chase activity. They chase productivity. They don't measure success by how tired they are at the end of the day, but by how much value they've created. Remember this timeless principle: the marketplace doesn't pay for time, it pays for value. Time is equal for everyone, but value is not. Your job is to spend your time becoming the kind of person whose value can't be ignored. When you do that, wealth will no longer be something you chase, it will be something you attract naturally. Discipline creates financial freedom because freedom always follows order. Most people want the reward without the routine, the comfort without the commitment, but the wealthy understand that lasting wealth begins with disciplined habits. Discipline is the difference between wishing for success and working for it. It's the quiet power behind every great fortune and every stable life. Without discipline, even a large income disappears. With discipline, even a small one can grow into something extraordinary. Financial discipline begins with a simple idea: control your money before it controls you. Every dollar that comes into your life is a seed. You can plant it, spend it, waste it, or multiply it, but you can't ignore it. Wealthy people track where their money goes. They plan, budget, and invest with intention. They understand that every purchase is a choice between a short-term pleasure and a long-term purpose. That's the mindset that separates the rich from the broke. One reacts, the other plans. Discipline means living by design, not by default. It's telling your money what to do instead of asking where it went. It's setting aside a portion to save, to invest, to give, and to grow. It's delaying gratification, skipping the unnecessary today so you can enjoy the extraordinary tomorrow. You can't build freedom on impulse. You build it on intention. Every act of financial discipline is an act of self-respect. It says, I am in charge of my future, not my circumstances. But discipline isn't only about saving, it's about smart saving. The wealthy don't hide their money under a mattress. They put it to work. They make their money serve them. While most people trade time for money, disciplined individuals learn to make money trade for more money. That's how investments, businesses, and opportunities multiply. Discipline is what keeps them consistent when results are slow, because they know compounding only works for those who stay steady. Discipline also means protecting what you've earned. Wealthy people are careful about risk. They read the fine print, think long-term, and avoid emotional decisions. They don't spend to impress, they spend to express wisdom. They understand that wealth whispers, it doesn't have to shout. They use money as a tool, not a trophy. That's why their success lasts. They don't measure success by how much they can spend, but by how much freedom they can create. And here's a truth Jim Rohn would often remind us of. Discipline weighs ounces, regret weighs tons. The small discomfort of saying no today is far lighter than the heavy regret of being unprepared tomorrow. When you skip the habit, you delay the reward. But when you stay consistent, every little sacrifice compounds into something powerful. The person who saves a little, learns a little, and grows a little every day ends up with a lot more than the person who only hopes. Financial freedom isn't about never working again. It's about having choices. It's waking up without fear, making decisions based on purpose, not pressure. And discipline is what gives you that power. Every budget, every wise decision, every controlled impulse builds a foundation that money alone cannot buy. Peace of mind. So start where you are. You don't need to be rich to begin. You need to be disciplined to become rich. Build habits that align with your goals. Spend less than you earn. Invest more than you consume. And think long term. Remember, success is not about doing extraordinary things once. It's about doing simple things consistently. Wealth grows in silence through steady effort and clear intention. Discipline is the seed and financial freedom is the harvest. The sooner you plant it, the sooner you'll enjoy its shade. Money comes and goes, but character stays. And it's your character, your disciplined, determined, responsible self that will ultimately decide how far your wealth can go and how long it can last. Most people spend their free time trying to escape life, while successful people spend theirs trying to improve it. That's the difference between those who struggle and those who succeed. Education over entertainment, it sounds simple, but it's one of the greatest secrets to wealth and success. Wealthy people understand that every hour they spend learning pays them back for the rest of their lives, while every hour wasted on meaningless entertainment costs them more than they realize. Jim Rohn used to say, a formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune. That statement holds more truth today than ever before. Entertainment is easy, education requires effort. Entertainment makes you feel good now, education makes you grow for life. One gives you escape, the other gives you expansion. The key is not to eliminate entertainment completely. We all need rest and joy, but to make sure education has the higher priority. The wealthy don't stop learning after school. In fact, that's when their real education begins. They study human behavior, money management, business, communication, and leadership. They attend seminars, read books, listen to mentors, and reflect daily on what they've learned. They understand that one new idea, properly applied, can completely transform the direction of their life. The average person spends hours scrolling through distractions, while the successful person spends those same hours feeding their mind with wisdom. Over time, the difference is dramatic. Entertainment consumes time, education multiplies it. When you educate yourself, you save years of trial and error. You gain insight from others' experiences. You learn how to think, not just what to do. Wealthy people know that knowledge compounds just like money does. The more you learn, the more capable you become. And the more capable you become, the more valuable you are to the marketplace. That value turns into income, opportunities, and influence. Look at any successful person and you'll find a reader, a listener, a learner. They are students of life. They treat learning as a lifelong commitment, not a short-term phase. They don't wait for school or society to tell them what to study. They take responsibility for their own education. They seek information that feeds their goals, not their boredom. Now, think about this. If you spend 1 hour a day reading, that's 365 hours in a year. That's the equivalent of 9 full work weeks of personal growth. Imagine what that could do for your career, your business, or your relationships. Most people underestimate the power of small, consistent learning. They assume success comes from big breaks. But the truth is, it comes from small disciplines repeated daily. The wealthy understand that. Education doesn't just change your income, it changes your identity. When you fill your mind with wisdom, your decisions improve. When your decisions improve, your results improve. And when your results improve, your confidence grows. You start seeing possibilities that others can't. You begin to expect more from yourself and from life. That's the power of choosing education over entertainment. There's nothing wrong with enjoying a good movie or relaxing with friends. But remember, too much entertainment weakens the mind, while consistent education strengthens it. The goal is balance. Learn more than you entertain. Grow more than you escape. Replace 1 hour of mindless scrolling with 1 hour of learning, and you'll see your entire perspective shift. Every book you read, every podcast you listen to, every mentor you study brings you one step closer to the life you want. The wealthy know this truth. Your income rarely exceeds your personal development. If you want to earn more, learn more. If you want a better future, feed your mind today. Because ultimately, wealth doesn't start in the wallet. It starts in the mind that's trained, disciplined, and educated enough to create it. Education over entertainment, that's the real difference between an ordinary life and an extraordinary one. Money is a mirror, not a mask. It doesn't hide who you are. It reveals who you've been all along. When you don't have much, your choices are limited, and your flaws might stay small, but when you gain more money, more power, more opportunity, everything about you expands. If you are generous, you'll give more. If you are careless, you'll waste more. If you are wise, you'll invest more. That's why wealthy people don't just pursue money, they pursue growth. They understand that the real question isn't, how much can I earn? But who must I become to handle what I earn? Money doesn't make a person greedy. It simply amplifies the greed that was already there. It doesn't make someone generous. It simply gives more room for generosity to express itself. That's why character must come before cash. Without strong values, even great wealth can destroy you. But with strong principles, even modest wealth becomes meaningful. Wealthy people learn early that money is not the goal, it's a tool. A tool for freedom, for contribution, for building, and for serving. If you hand a foolish person a fortune, they'll lose it quickly. But give that same fortune to someone with wisdom, discipline, and gratitude, and they'll multiply it. The difference isn't the money, it's the mindset. The foundation of wealth isn't in the bank, it's in the heart and mind of the one who holds it. Jim Rohn used to say, if you want to be wealthy and happy, learn to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Because when you grow in character, you automatically grow in capacity. And when your capacity grows, so does your ability to manage and multiply wealth. Money tests us. It asks, will you use me to bless others or to impress others? Will you use me to create value or to chase vanity? Wealthy people understand this test. That's why they develop habits of humility, gratitude, and stewardship. They know money can buy comfort, but not peace, luxury, but not purpose. Peace and purpose come from who you become, not what you possess. Think about it. When a poor person becomes rich overnight, without the personal development to support it, it rarely lasts. Lottery winners and sudden millionaires often lose everything because they didn't grow into the kind of person who could handle the responsibility that comes with wealth. But someone who has built discipline, patience, and awareness over years, they can lose everything and rebuild it again because the true wealth is within them. So the lesson is clear. If you want to change what's in your wallet, start by changing what's in your mind and heart. Build integrity. Keep promises. Treat people well. Be generous even when you have little. That's how you prepare yourself for more. The more good character you have, the more capable you become of managing abundance when it comes your way. Wealth without wisdom is a curse, but wealth with wisdom is a blessing. Money will flow to those who respect it, manage it, and use it to serve others. When your character is right, you don't have to chase wealth. It will be drawn to you. So work on becoming the kind of person who deserves the life you desire. Because in the end, money doesn't change who you are. It simply gives the world a louder version of it. Study, apply, and evolve. 3 simple words that can completely transform your destiny. Every wealthy person, every successful individual, every master of their craft has walked through these 3 doors. You can't skip one and expect lasting results. The first step is to study, to open your mind to become a lifelong learner, and to seek understanding instead of just opinions. The second is to apply, to turn what you've learned into disciplined action, even when it's uncomfortable. And the third is to evolve, to grow into someone new, someone better, someone capable of handling greater success. Most people want a better life but are unwilling to study a better way. They spend hours watching entertainment, but minutes learning success. Wealthy people flip that ratio. They know that learning is the foundation of earning. When you study success, you begin to see patterns. You realize that people who rise in life aren't necessarily more talented. They're more teachable. They study what works and repeat it until it becomes second nature. They study failure not to judge it, but to learn from it. Every setback becomes a classroom. Every mistake becomes a lesson. They don't waste experience. They extract wisdom from it. But studying alone isn't enough. Knowledge is only potential power until it's put into motion. The second step is to apply. Wealthy people act on what they learn. They experiment, they test, they fail, and they adjust. They know that motion creates clarity. If you wait for everything to be perfect before you begin, you'll never begin. The best way to learn how to do something is by doing it. You don't need to have all the answers before taking the first step. You need courage to move forward while learning along the way. Application turns information into transformation. Every book, every seminar, every lesson becomes alive when you start using it in real life. Application also means discipline. You can't read about success on Monday and return to old habits by Friday. Wealthy people are consistent. They take small, steady steps toward their vision every day. They manage their money, time, and energy with intention. They set goals, track progress, and refine their methods. They understand that success is not a leap, it's a climb. And every time you apply what you've learned, you move one step higher. Then comes the third and most beautiful stage, evolve. Evolution is when learning and doing start shaping who you are. You begin to think differently, act differently, and expect more from yourself. You stop living by chance and start living by choice. The person who once struggled to save $1 becomes someone who invests with confidence. The one who once doubted themselves becomes someone others look up to. That's the power of evolution. You become a new version of yourself, capable of handling the results you've been working toward. When you study, apply, and evolve, you unlock the true process of growth. You no longer chase wealth, you grow into it. You stop blaming circumstances and start creating them. You stop waiting for opportunity and begin preparing for it. Life rewards those who take what they learn and turn it into action. The difference between those who dream and those who achieve is that achievers study diligently, act boldly, and evolve constantly. They keep learning, keep improving, and keep adapting. Remember, nothing changes until you do. Study with hunger, apply with courage, and evolve with humility. That's how you build a life of success and significance. The same principles that created wealth for others can create it for you if you're willing to follow them. So don't just collect knowledge, use it, live it, and let it transform you. Because every time you study, apply, and evolve, you move closer to the life you were meant to live.